Mexico is one of the most attractive and dangerous countries in the world. In Mexico, you can see both heaven and hell. The geography of this country is very vast. It has amazing beaches, jungles, and deserts. You can find it in this country. Mexico is one of the main tourist destinations. If you are planning to go to Mexico, think again about everything, because this country has the largest criminal organizations and groups in the world, and the power of these groups is greater than the Mexican police and army. These organizations are known as cartels, and they are also present in many parts of Mexico. These cartels are so strong that more than 20,000 people are killed every year in fights between these cartels. For this reason, tourists visiting this country are warned not to leave certain areas, because the number of tourists who go missing in this country and are no longer found is increasing every year. Don't forget that 12 of the most dangerous cities in the world are located in Mexico. How were these cartels that the whole world fears formed, and why are they so dangerous? Now, if you want to learn more about some of these cartels, together, let's learn more. Before watching this video, be sure to become a member of the channel and click the subscribe button and support us by liking this video and continue to stay with the Secret Box channel. The Los Zetas S cartel is one of the criminal groups that was founded in 1999 by some Mexican army officers. This group has more than 10,000 trained forces and is one of the main criminal gangs that causes terror and bloodshed in Mexico. This group has no headquarters or fixed place for leadership, so it is very difficult to destroy this group, and that the main members of the group are named with codes of some numbers instead of their real names. According to reports from the U.S. Department of Intelligence, the weapons that the Los Zetas cartel and other cartels have are more advanced than those of the Mexican army, and they even have submarines for transporting drugs to the United States and Europe. In addition to drug trafficking, which is their main business, these cartels are engaged in many illegal activities. Los Zetas is one of the most violent criminal groups in the world, and the internet is full of videos of this group. And of course, it is not allowed to talk about it here. But this criminal group uses many methods of execution and beheading to create fear and terror. The members of this gang are formed by armed soldiers, and sometimes they impose curfews in Mexican cities and streets. If you don't like it, you can break these rules. Then, you know what the result of this is? A few years ago, 500 locals were killed in Mexico City for violating the rules. This process is also called the Los Zetas Massacre. Los Zetas Sinaloa Cartel. To understand this cartel, it is better to know the leader of this cartel, El Chapo. The United States government has described El Chapo as the most ruthless, murderous, and feared man on the planet, and Interpol is also after him. El Chapo managed to escape from a maximum security prison in Mexico in 2001 and 2015, and was arrested again in 2016. Before his arrest, Hollywood actor Sean Penn interviewed El Chapo in the jungle, in which El Chapo said that he was the largest drug supplier in the world and that he carried out this trade through trucks, planes, and submarines. El Chapo is responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of people, and those who were able to meet El Chapo say that when they went to his residence, the roadside was full of the bodies of the people he had killed. His goal in leaving the bodies on the side of the road was to warn newcomers, and this method was known as the El Chapo method. In 2015, El Chapo threatened the leader of the Islamic State, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, to blow up the drug trafficking route in Iraq and Syria, forcing ISIS to reopen the route. In the trial, it was revealed that El Chapo had paid a bribe of $100 million to the former president of Mexico.
The last time he managed to escape from prison through a tunnel, there was a special route for motorcycles, air conditioning, and lighting. He was finally arrested in 2016, and since there was a possibility that the Mexican government would not be able to keep El Chapo in prison for long, it was decided that El Chapo would be sentenced to life imprisonment and serve his sentence in a prison in the United States. He was also ordered to pay a fine of $14 billion. When El Chapo went to a restaurant to eat, they would close all the doors and exits of the place and take away all the cell phones of the people who were there, and at the end of the night, El Chapo would pay their bills to compensate for the inconvenience caused to the people. If you see this woman in Mexico, I advise you to definitely turn your back because she is El Chapo's mother. Although El Chapo has been arrested, the Sinaloa cartel is still powerful. Since these cartels have a large scope of operation, they control large areas and large groups of people. In Mexico, the police cooperate with this mafia and sometimes take billions of dollars in bribes from these groups. That is why it is not so easy to destroy these groups. Cartels make up 50% of the world's criminal gangs and have infiltrated every part of Mexico. There are 7 major cartels in Mexico. In the last presidential election in Mexico, about 130 politicians and thousands of ordinary people were killed. Perhaps it is because of these violent events, the unfair distribution of income, and the incompetence of the country's leaders that 14 million Mexicans returned to the United States. When you get to know the warm and kind people of Mexico closely, you will understand that it is not fair that so much injustice is being done to them. These are not the only things that happen in Mexico. Just a few years ago, a group of 43 leftist students who had taken to the streets to protest the low salaries of their professors completely disappeared. Although the Mexican government claimed that cartels and students had kidnapped them, according to a report by an international investigative team, a large number of police forces were present at the scene to create fear and terror among these students who were protesting the injustices in the country. And this issue is still shrouded in mystery, and the essence of the matter is still unknown. There's evidence that the police forces themselves forced these young people onto police buses, and that the government itself took these young people, meaning that in this era, Mexico is still very backward, and even students in this country do not have security. Of course, not everything in this country is a nightmare, and people do not carry bombs with them. Only a small number of people who do not make up 1/10 of the population of this country cause terrorist problems in this country. The rest of the people are ordinary people and have their own customs, culture, and lives. If you go there as a tourist, they will not charge you anything and will not meet you on time. If you go to Mexico, you will find that people in tourist areas are very hospitable. The security of tourist areas is provided by American security forces, and Mexicans enjoy eating the hottest sauces in the world. It can be interesting for you to see people who are exhausted by the intense heat and take a nap at every opportunity they find. In Mexico, there are also names of 10 to 15 words because the last names of your parents are added after the last names of people. That is why very long names and surnames are common there. Many places pay their monthly salaries in 2 installments, on the 1st and 15th of each month, so that people can afford their monthly expenses. Aztec culture still exists among the people.
Some writers believe that the violence in Mexico is a remnant of Aztec culture. Although most people are Catholic, they still adhere to ancient pagan beliefs. The best example of this is the Day of the Dead. On November 1st and 2nd, people gather to honor their dead. People go to the altar to pay their respects to their dead. They even hire bands to play their favorite music at the graves of their dead. These days, some people paint their faces like skeletons or put masks on their faces. People are used to seeing these skeletons and masks. The preparations they make for the dead are exactly like receiving guests, because on that day, relatives of the dead visit their graves and believe that by doing so, they will bring the dead back to life. The first day of this event, which is held on November 1st, is known as the Day of the Little Angels, and the second day of November is the Day of All Dead. When you travel to Mexico, do not be separated from your tour members and be careful, because if you are not careful, you may find yourself in an unknown place when you open your eyes. Thank you very much for staying with us until the end of this video. If you like these sample videos, be sure to like the video and share it with your friends, and be sure to write your comments in the comments section. Thank you.